Alright, tube, we're back, of course, to talk about the Final Fantasy IX Remake. It has been quite a while, but we have some updates coming from Midori, apparently. There's an account on Twitter called Ryan from the Bronx, but in their description they say that they're the original creator of the Midori account. Midori, of course, is who we used to get a decent amount of information from in general, but, a lot for the 9 Remake. I had somebody comment on one of my videos to let me know about this new information, so shout out to you. Let's get into it. So they dropped this yesterday and said the developer for Final Fantasy IX Remake was originally Zine. The project moved in-house at Square Enix earlier this year for graphical refinement purposes, and the title looks similar to Memoria Project. Development is complete. So some of that's not necessarily new. We'd heard before from Midori that there's a different company like developing the IX Remake, and then they moved it in-house at Square Enix. We never had specifics of who it was. According to them, it's Zine, which is a company I've never heard of. I had to look them up for this video. Looking into them, I can't really find like a definitive list of the games that they've made just because like every website has different shit. But it did help with Trials of Mana in 2020, so they do have a history of working with Square Enix. As for the 9 Remake looking like the Memoria Project, that's a bit different from what we've heard before from Midori, where we were told that it's like Dragon Quest meets Memoria Project. But they did say with this recent information that Square Enix brought it in-house for like graphical refinements or enhancements or whatever. So maybe they leaned more towards Memoria Project and less Dragon Quest. The real update from this is that according to Midori, the development is complete for the 9 Remake, because as far back as I can remember, and it's a previous tweet that I showed in the video, that was like 4 months ago at this point, the development was still happening, but according to them, it's now complete. There's also another tweet at one point that it said development was far along, but I don't recall ever having like information from Midori about development being like done on the 9 Remake, so I believe this is new information. Which is obviously exciting, because that means that there could be an announcement or reveal or whatever of the 9 Remake at any point. I would say that if they're completing the development for the 9 Remake without ever actually like officially revealing it, then it probably is like a lower scale kind of thing. Not to say that it's going to be like bad or anything, but it's not going to be maybe like on par with the 7 Remake, where it's like this massive like remake kind of game, especially if they're outsourcing to somebody else at one point, right? Because otherwise you think there'd be like some sort of big campaign about it. We'd be hearing about it like going gold and all kinds of trailers and things for it. And it seems like, they're waiting until they're completely done with it, if the development's already complete, to actually announce it. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't need them to like give us the 7 Remake treatment. I'm not against that, but I wouldn't mind a Final Fantasy IX that just looks better. They follow this up with the internal delay was not due to a Switch 2 version. Which we'd heard before from Midori some time ago that it was apparently internally delayed, but apparently that wasn't for a Switch 2 version. I don't know who really thought that would be the reason for the delay, but I guess that's information. And following that tweet was like several strings of tweets where somebody asked if it's come to the original Switch. They say it's not, which is a little interesting. They also asked what systems it'll be on, and they say turn-based, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Switch 2 potentially in the future. There's another bit below the Switch 2 tweet that somebody said the internal delay was due to tech problems in the Switch 1, now canned version. Game is in playable state, Q&A since November last year, and they reply with correct. I thought that was a little interesting just because, like, of all the platforms to get your game on, Switch makes the most sense. It's the most popular, of course, besides maybe like PC, I guess. But still, like, if you can get your game on the Switch 1, why wouldn't you? If there's tech problems, I guess there's tech problems. If they can't resolve it, maybe they just can the version. But still is a little bit weird because that's like the one platform I'd focus on, maybe. Some other random bits, this person asked if it's fully turn-based, to which they replied that it was fully turn-based. That's not really new information. We've actually heard that before from Midori, but I figured I'd throw it in the video. Somebody else also asked, with no upcoming Final Fantasy games on the docket, do you think it'll be announced at Tokyo Game Show or the Game Awards? To which they said, could be, but the announcement plans for this are more when, not if. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it randomly dropped at any event. It's currently slated for 2025, however, so we should have more information sometime in the somewhat near future. Now, 2025 is obviously an entire year. That's a long time. It could drop anywhere within that year, potentially. But we'd heard previously from Midori that the 9 Remake could drop within the fiscal year, which would be as far as March 31st of next year. Maybe things could change, but that's like the last update we'd had about that in terms of like a release window. Now they're just saying 2025 is the release window, so who knows exactly. And I think that's kind of it, at least what I could find on the Twitter feed of kind of all the updates we have for the 9 Remake right now. As I said previously, I think it's a little bit weird that development would be done without them ever like announcing it or revealing it. Like, that's kind of weird. There's at least usually some sort of marketing, but maybe they want to reveal it and release it pretty quickly. If it's just like a visual remake, right, and they're not really adding anything new to the game, then it's not really a game that needs to be like super marketed, where they got to give you like with like the 7 Rebirth, where they talked about it for like almost a year, right? Like they don't really need to do that if it's just kind of a visual enhancement essentially. I mean, they're probably going to tweak like combat stuff and maybe tweak some things that maybe need to be changed a bit from the original, but ultimately a visual enhancement. Obviously, while Midori did have like correct information at times, I don't think they've always been 100% correct. So for now, it's like a grain of salt sort of thing, of course, but it's exciting. If it is true, according to them, development is done and we can maybe expect an announcement at any point. We do have Tokyo Game Show coming up, obviously Game Awards at the end of the year. If development is complete, we also have this like, upcoming State of Play, that should be happening, I think, this week, according to Geoff Grubb, this upcoming week. So there's all kinds of possibilities for the 9 Remake to be shown off. So hopefully that does indeed happen. Holy shit, we've been waiting for a long goddamn time. The leak happened like almost exactly like 3 years ago, right? September 2021, I believe. So it's been a while. Like, holy fuck. Just officially announced at Square Enix. Come on already. Also, Tactics Remastered. Also, I found this on their feed, so we might as well throw it in the video, because otherwise I probably won't ever talk about it. They say that Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster are coming to Xbox pretty soon, so take that for what you will. Anyways, that's the video, my dude. Subscribe to if you guys are new, so works in the description below. If I'm on Twitter, @DaveYT, that's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.